That's a road, in case you didn't know.
Beautiful.
Okay, so there's a car rolled over here. Wheels are up in the air. When we arrive on the scene, traffic's supposed to be coming this way and this way. But the one accident we went to a year or so ago on McKinsey, like a bunch of dummies, this was where the car was. We put the fire trucks over here. They should have been here and here. Because the reason you're there is to protect the scene. If the situation was there to cause one accident, it's still there to cause 2 or 3. And you're gonna contribute to it if you screw up. You should leave enough room for the ambulance, whichever place they're parked, and then leave some space between it. I'm not trying to knock the cops, but the police, for the most part, seem to think they're beyond having to worry about anything. They pull up with their car and park it and go strolling around like the car's never gonna come over the hill 40 miles an hour and plow into them. It could happen. And the trouble with when you get pinched between a car, it makes you short, because the bumpers are about knee high, and if you lose everything from the knee down, they call you shorty. You have trouble with the salad bar. You can't get under that wood. At an accident, if there's any chance of fire, should have a charged line. Have the pump going and have a charged line. Have it ready in case, so that when the fire starts, you've already got water there. Think of anything else?
I know we set up the cones wrong that day. I can't remember how we set them up, but we didn't set them up right.
One thing they say is, how many cones do you use at an accident?
All of them.
You use all of them you have. You never get too many cones. It's better to have a car run over a dozen cones and drag a couple of them away than to have them run into you. The cones really, it depends on the situation. Maybe you want your trucks out in the lane of traffic. Another thing to remember and worry about is which way the wheels are pointed. If the wheels are pointed this way, somebody runs into the ass end of it, the truck's going to go this way. You don't want to park like, say, this one. If you put the wheels that way, somebody comes up behind you, it's going to go right into the... So it's pretty much common sense. Stop and think about, why am I there? What am I supposed to do? How should the wheels be turned to protect? The most important people are the ambulance people and the victims and you. You're the most important person. Protect your ass. When you're directing traffic at a scene, I don't remember the acronym now, there's 4 initials. You're supposed to have an escape route and a place to go in case somebody comes up. Paul almost got hit once by a car, well, more than once. One time we were, I think it was you and I that were up by the cemetery, weren't we?
Yes.
When that pickup come roaring through there, I heard every 4-letter word I've ever heard in my life, and I had worked some places where there was lots of them, from a woman that was driving the pickup. The guy I don't think had a driver's license, they were both drunk. Anyway, we radioed ahead, Doug was down at the scene, and they got a free ride to Siren because they were drunk, and they went roaring through the scene 40 miles an hour. Another time, I think it was just beyond Rooney Lake Road on A too. Didn't you, Paul, get hit?
Well, wasn't there one on H down here?
Yeah, that was where that truck hit that utility pole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it takes, you know, you got a fire truck there with lights flashing, you've got people there with the reflective strips, you got slow and stop signs, and you're going like this, and they think that means push down harder, you know, go faster. I've seen people that we know go by and smile at you and wave 40 miles an hour. We're not there to be the good humor guys.
Should those trucks be angled out at all or anything like that?
Yeah, they,
The first one's supposed to be straight in line with the tires away from traffic, and then you're supposed to have a blocking vehicle that points the way the traffic is supposed to go to kind of guide them. And their tires should still be angled in too, so they don't get hit into traffic.
draw it in there.
Okay, so usually the cops aren't usually the first ones around here, but the first vehicle will probably be around here, and then their tires should be angled this way. And then they usually have the fire truck as like a blocker vehicle, so they'll be kind of angled that way. Their tires that way, so if they get hit, they go straight. And then the cars know to go this direction.
And just the opposite on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, technically that should have been flipped to the side, but
it's same as anything we go to. Each thing is different. You gotta kind of stop and think, you know, if we get ass-ended, where is the truck gonna go? And do we have a big enough truck to stop a car? A car doing 60 miles an hour plows into the back of a squad car is gonna move him a few hundred feet before they stop. Where if they hit, our biggest truck is 22, it's got 2,500 gallons of water in it. You probably only move that about 3 or 4 feet. It's something to think about.
I think this accident we were on, the township didn't have any salt on the roads and it was all ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Christmas one? Christmas is always terrible.
It was on Mackenzie Road just over that hill when you turn right at Christner. I think that's the one you're talking about.
there was one on Oak Lake one time where you couldn't hardly stand up out on the road. The pickup just slid into the ditch with a load of wood, firewood, and we were trying to help him out. And you couldn't stand up on the road. Just the crown of the road was enough to make you slide into the ditch. Most of our trucks do have sand or kitty litter or something like that. It's something that you could scatter around to help out.
Good thing about this road is it was straight. There was a hill back here, but
Yeah.
most of our roads are windy, so that makes it difficult too.
That brings up another thing, and I don't think you touched on it, but we can take as much room as we want.
Mhm.
So if it's slippery, leave a lot of room between trucks, and leave a lot of room between the truck and whoever's running the stop slow flag. You know, you're gonna wanna give people enough time if they can't see you to slow down and not slide and not cause another accident. And then you brought up the windy roads. If we're on one, there's nothing to say that we can't go a half mile down the road
Mhm.
and stop traffic there if it's on a turn. You know, like the last thing you want is someone coming around like A and Christner and be like, oh, they hit the stop line, oh shit, there's a fire truck.
Yeah.
So you can take as much room as you want or as little room as you want, but we just want to make sure we're doing it as safe as possible. People have to drive a half mile in one lane, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Another thing to consider is rerouting traffic. You might have to put your vehicle maybe a half a mile away and direct traffic around a different route.
Mhm.
I think, Greg, you got involved with a woman one time that you had a nice conversation with, didn't you? She usually has a bomb on
I've heard a lot of
Greg
that.
if you-
From hunters.
So they don't like it, whoopee ding. We're not really there because we want to be either.
Yeah, if you're gonna be a long ways back, it's better to close it off unless you have lots of trucks and stuff. Otherwise, they just go around your truck and back in right next to the accident scene.
And we're fortunate enough where we are, where it's all county roads.
Mhm.
If we're gonna shut down the road, the only people we have to tell is dispatch. And that's easy.
Yeah, it's easy for us.
And on top of that, if we're shutting down roads, they're supposed to send help. Because a lot of times, I mean, personnel for us is an issue. You know, if we're shutting down roads and rerouting people, then you're taking up 2 trucks and people that we might need at the scene. So if you know you have to do it, just call dispatch and tell them.
I'd imagine we'd be good to call Jackson and Webb Lake too.
Right, if we had to, I mean, we have other departments we can rely on, but
Any other questions, comments? Spence, you got anything else you can think of?
I don't think so. You can find some videos on YouTube and stuff, but it's hard to find stuff for rural areas. It's pretty much all like,
4 to 6 lane highway.
yeah. Yeah, like me and Dave went to that class at WITC. It was pretty much a waste of time for us,
Yeah.
but
6-lane highways, how you close off 5 lanes and Route 1.
yeah, it closes.
But generally, I mean, how they're parking the trucks is how
Yeah.
they park the trucks. We're never gonna have to shut anything down that side, but.
No. Yeah, the biggest highways we got is 77 and 70. That's the most traffic we'll get, so.
And one thing they stress at those schools is if you're not employed at the scene, go sit in a truck. Let your supervisor, whoever's in charge of it, know that you're there. But the more people that there are out milling around, the more cause there is for people, or chance for people to get hurt. At that roll over there on Christner Road, I don't know if all those people came out of that car that rolled over or not, but I would like to have been there. That would have made those clown cars look like pikers, because there was about 12 people in one car.
Yeah, there was a lot of, like that night specifically, there was a lot of bystanders.
Yeah,
And they, as much as I kept trying to herd them away from the center of the road, it didn't seem to help.
yeah, everybody wants to look, to be in the action.
Yeah, my mom went to that call on, was that a few days ago, that car got stopped in the middle of the road. Like she said, there's like 50 cars there. But
This is the time of the year, all it takes is one accident, like they stress. If the conditions are right for one accident, the conditions are most likely still there to make another one, and it keeps getting worse the more vehicles we and other bystanders and so on and so forth have there. So,
we usually have vanishing drivers for us.
yeah, vanishing Americans are called. Yeah.